At this stage I want to give the details to asset team. Saying that asset team to notify asset details. Here again I am adding user, approver. Approvers are user. I am selecting user by year 1, for example, the user 1. He is the one responsible for no town of asset details. But again, I don't want his approval. He just needs to be notified. So here I am saying asset team to slow down asset details. Here, approval does not require. Click on Done. Click on OK. Now I created an approval flow. If you view the task detail, click on Custom. For better understanding, I'll show you. I'm saying supervisor, but currently buyer 7 do not have a supervisor, so this is not working now. Action. OK. Edit task details and the first node. Supervisor. I'm just adding approver. I'm selecting buyer 7 as my supervisor also. I'm done. Let us understand that, whether it is a capital asset purchase or not. How do I know? I want to ask that question to user itself. I'm going to add a question. Is this capital expenditure? User say yes. I'm going to say, capture that response as yes. This is the best practice. No. Just to define. The user says no. I'm going to capture that information as no. I'm adding one more answer. Please select. I want this to be my default answer. That has to be changed. Without entering this value, it should not work. Click on OK. And if you see is capital expenditure is yes, then I want this approval flow to trigger. Otherwise it's OK, I don't want. Capital S means I need to select other condition. Capital S means I want this approval flow to start. I'll click on Create my test project. Before that, I'll increase the ranking also, just to bring this from now. Earlier, when I'm creating, it was in 3rd place. I'll bring it at least a little bit above that. How do I go to ranking? You just put one rank. Now create my test project. Second place. Okay, create test. Sorry. It's project no. Effective date. You can see now it has moved to second. And here it is asking me to select supplier, Pepper Main Hypermain. Even I need to complete this question, otherwise I will not able to submit my test. I'm forcing the user to give an answer. Is this capital expenditure? User says yes. Then click on Create Test. Once the test is created. Once I go to the task. Approval for capital expenditure. Once I click on this View Task Details. Click on Custom Rule. There are 3 people has to approve this approval flow. Buyer 7. Why he is to give. I added the description there as a tool tip. Supervisor approval. Why finance has to approve. Finance approval for capital expenditure. Why this watcher is there. Asset team to note down asset details. Whatever I'm mentioning there that is visible, so they can know why it is added. For his approval. I select no, then he become a watcher. What will happen after buyer 7 and finance approve? He will go a notification to this person saying that asset purchase has been approved. You can note down your detail. He will open a particular document. His approval is not required. So this is only for recording keeping. He will go to the document. Once he get that description, he will enter this asset detail. Whatever the details are there, he will note down. This is controlling your company's workflow. Like this, you can create for anything. Maybe you can say, are you from particular region? That is the reason you can define different templates or tasks based on that particular task. Also if the amount of spend is more than so on. So you want to create an approval flow or you want to create task. You can decide on that. Like that, any of your business scenarios, you can able to drive it. For example, capital expenditure in India up to 50 for 50,000 rupees. You do not read any approval. If other than India region, then the link, the approval amount may be $1 million or something like that. So you can create 2 approval flows, more than 1 million or less than 50,000, and you can define the condition. This is for Indian region and this is for non-India region. Something like that. Any your business scenarios, you can get the response from your end user. Based on that, you can derive your task and document. This is, once you make the task or documents in template, then that has to approval. So, for example, there is an asset and someone creating a content workspace. You need to complete the task in order to submit his project. If you say no, then it is not required. You can give option to the end user whether he want to submit. He can submit, or it is up to him. Suppose you do not, given any of these approval flows in your template level, how can an end user will do that? So I will open any of the template currently end user is creating. The steps which I have explained is for both sourcing, all the upstream related project. I will just select one of the project on the right box space procurement. Search, which is in draft status. OK. It's a CPW someone is using. Click on Open. OK. Now, these are all coming from your template.